And you got me thinking lately, made you crazy, and nothing's ever good enough. I wrote a little song for you, it go like
வசீகரா என் நெஞ்சிலிட்ட உன் பூங்கடியில் தூங்கினால் போதும் அதே கணம் என் கண்ணுறங்க உன் ஜென்மங்களின் கதை காணும்.
Hi. This is going to be the first video I post on my YouTube channel. Obviously, I'm nervous. I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Challenge because I'm a newbie booktuber. Why is this so hard? Okay. My name's Fajr Mohammed, and I'm 21. I'm turning 22 in like 2 months. I'm in school and I like to read. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? I've always wanted a YouTube channel since I was like really young. I think like a lot of people, I grew up watching, you know, Bethany Moda and 7 Supergirls and Amanda Steele, and I just never had the courage before to make my own channel until now, I guess. I think I need like a fun hobby and a creative outlet right now, just because school has been hard, and I think this would do well as that because it combines a hobby that I already have and love, which is reading, with some things that I have wanted always to get into, which is YouTube and editing. I also really want to make some friends through this community and just be able to talk about the books that I like with other people, because I don't have any close friends that I really talk about books with, and I feel like I read so many that it would be nice to talk about them with someone. My best friend is wanting to get into reading, which is so great, but she seems more inclined towards classics and literary fiction, and as of now I haven't really read a lot of books like that, so until our interests merge she can't really be that for me, but you know, hopefully one day. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I feel like this is hard. Is anyone really unique? I don't know, that was a very deep question. I don't think there are a lot of, you know, Pakistani, Canadian, hijabi booktubers. I know we have some representation on Book Talk, but maybe I can be a little bit of rep on YouTube, even though that's kind of a lot of pressure. Yeah. I'm also just very unapologetic about my reading taste and, you know, what I like and what I enjoy, and, you know, I don't really care what anyone else thinks about it if they think it's like weird or lame, so hopefully I can encourage others to love what they do shamelessly and, if they want, loudly. So the next question is, what are you most excited about with this new channel? And for me, the thing that I'm the most excited about, and kind of one of the main goals that I have in making this channel, is coming out of the slump that I've been in for the last 2 years of mostly reading books that I'm not super enjoying. When Book Talk blew up, the books I read changed a lot. I think it's just because I had so much more access to recommendations, so instead of, you know, forming my own opinion on a book or, you know, going to the library or browsing, really like looking into what I was planning on reading, I would kind of just take one quote or one trope and roll with it and pick up a book based off of that. I used to only really read YA, fantasy, and dystopian, and this was when I was like 16, 17, I think. And then, you know, Book Talk happened and I veered a lot into romance, which I think is normal, especially at that age, and at the age that I am now. But somehow that has morphed into reading mostly badly written Kindle Unlimited romance books, and that's not to say all books on Kindle Unlimited are bad, just the ones that I tend to pick up don't have the best writing or plots, because that's what I'm looking for, but like it's not what I'm looking for. Like, they're easy to read, so I pick them up because I'm just so used to it now, but they're not what I really enjoy anymore. It's also just so much easier to pick up like a light romance, or maybe, you know, a romance that isn't light but has tropes or themes or a setting that I'm already familiar with, because I've read a lot of books with those things already. It's so much easier to pick up books like that compared to books with like heavy world building or that deal with more serious topics or themes, or are gonna make me like really look inward, because sometimes we're not ready to look inward. One thing about me is I'm very easy to sell things to. Very easy. I can be gullible, not the most perceptive, and very impulsive in buying things. So that's why I think BookTok had such a huge influence on me in my reading taste. Another thing is, I think because I've read so many, in my opinion, kind of mediocre books in the last 2 years, a big goal with this is also just finding out what I do like now, because I mean, I'm 21, almost 22 now, and tastes change, people change, and I feel like maybe my tastes are the exact same. Maybe I still really love dystopians and fantasies. I wouldn't know because I haven't read a lot of them in the last little while, and I'm gonna go back to that and try those out. But I want to find out what I like. I want to kind of explore genres. There are genres that I know I'm not gonna like. Like I know I'm never gonna be a mystery girly or a thriller or horror type of person, and I just don't enjoy the themes that those genres explore and the kind of vibe. But yeah, I want to use this channel to kind of look at that problem with a fresh mindset, and I think it'll also motivate me to go out there and look more into, you know, just what's out there and what I could possibly like. The next question is, why do you love reading? And this is hard because I feel like I've loved it for so long, and it's been something that I did for so long that it's just become a part of me. I love getting to be in someone else's head, getting to hear their thoughts, getting to see how they look at things. I love getting to experience events that I wouldn't in my normal life and feel feelings that I wouldn't on a normal day. And I also just love how much a book can introduce to you, the topics it can introduce, the themes. It can really change the way you look at yourself, the way you look at the world, how you treat people. It makes you more empathetic, I think, because you're more used to putting yourself in someone else's shoes and trying to understand them. And it's just such a fun and imaginative out-of-body experience that you have while spending time alone in your own head that also brings you closer to other people in a way. There's also, of course, the whole escapism aspect of it when I'm reading, because the types of things I read, I don't read a lot of nonfiction or like biographies. I read mostly like fiction and things that are like fun. So when I'm reading, I don't really have to think about like my future or like a never-ending to-do list I have, or, you know, any problems in the real world. I can just chill out, have some fun, just spend some time in my own head for a little while. Of course, I do use this sometimes to my own detriment and like binge read a bunch of books, maybe that I don't even enjoy, because I'm avoiding things that I need to be doing, important things. I haven't been doing that lately, so hopefully that continues. I loved reading time in like elementary school, and I remember we even had it in our humanities class in grade 8, and I loved getting to bring whatever book I was reading and just have time, like sometimes half an hour to just read, and it was like a part of school and it was so much fun for me. I loved the elementary school library as a kid. I loved all of my librarians so much. I was so happy when they would let me take out books above my age range. I would feel so cool. I'm also really grateful I can speak and read English, because I think it makes so much work so much more accessible to me, and yeah, it's just something I'm really grateful for. The next question is, what book or series got you into reading? This is also a hard question because I've been reading for so long that I don't remember if there's like a specific book that got me into reading. I know that when I was younger, I remember reading the Rainbow Magic Fairy books, like there was that series, and you know, reading like Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes, Cupcake Diaries, the Bone series, manga like Choco Mimi and Kitchen Princess. And then when I was like 15, which wasn't that long ago, I enjoyed like the Vampire Academy books, Twilight. The Divergent books were a big hit with me. I actually got my nickname as a kid, which some people still call me this. Not a lot of people, honestly, and it's rare. I got my nickname Fudge from the Judy Blume character. You know, you guys remember Fudge-a-mania? Yeah, I got my nickname from him because he had an insane personality, and when I was younger, I was crazy. I was crazy. You know what I mean. Like, I was a hard to deal with kid, and I had the same missing teeth as the character, so yeah, that's where I got my little nickname from. Another story actually is when I was younger, I actually did not learn to read as quickly as other kids did, and I have this like very faint memory of crying in the closet of the room that I shared with my sister, and her finding me and me explaining to her why I was crying and her teaching me how to read. So she did that once or twice, and that really encouraged me to try harder to learn, and obviously everything worked out because I read kind of a lot now. I did actually go through a phase in high school for like maybe a year where I wasn't reading at all, just because high school was a little hard and a lot of things changed. And the book that got me back into reading after that was Fire by Kristen Kishore. I love that book. It's one of those books that I go back and reread every once in a while. I want to annotate it one day. I own it. Like, wanting to reread a book for me is like, that means I really love it. I don't reread a lot of books. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Some of my favorite booktubers are like Hannah from The Clockwork Reader, Leonie from The Book Leo, Steph Borer, Emmy from Emmy Reads, another Canadian, Cindy from Cindy Reads, and Nikel from Nikel's Nook, who recently made a channel. I've been enjoying her content. If I like met them on the street or something, realistically I would do nothing because I don't talk to strangers that much, like of my own accord. But like if I against my will had to speak to them, I'd probably ask if it ever gets easier filming yourself. If it gets easier being on camera, talking on camera, if you ever also feel so like dumb and unarticulate when you film. For me, it's made me realize I stutter and trip over my words and lose my train of thought more than I ever realized, and it's humbling. It's definitely humbling. Hopefully as I keep filming things will get smoother and smoother, but yeah, right now it's a bit of a challenge, so I would definitely ask advice on that. Also just on like how people are finding time to read so much when they have like a life outside of that. Like I see some people reading like 10 plus books a month, and I don't know, it depends on how long the book is. Admittedly, I can read a lot of books too, but that's like when I'm hyperfixating and when I'm not doing anything else with my time, which is not a good thing. I should be like balancing. So yeah, just like how do you find the time to read so much that you're like making so many videos about it? Because I feel like at the most I can imagine myself making one video a month, let alone like 2 a week. The next question is, what challenges with starting a booktube channel do you think are going to be the hardest to overcome? And for me, I think it's definitely filming, finding good lighting to film, feeling like I look good enough to film, then also reading enough that like I have something to film about, and then editing. Editing it's fun, but so far it's been kind of fun to learn, but I'm scared that I'm gonna like have a harder and harder time as time goes on, because I'll want to get better, which I will, but like, you know, so far it's been fun to learn to edit, but I don't know how much better I'm gonna get, which I'm a little nervous about. So yeah, those are the things that I'm a little bit nervous about that I think are going to be challenges. The next question is, when did you start reading? I again have read for so long I really don't remember, probably just since I learned. I remember my mom used to take us to, like us as in myself and my 3 sisters, she used to take us to the library, like she'd walk us there and we'd hang out there for hours, you know, browse and read and pick out books to take home. So it probably started around then for me to like be doing it as consistently as I do now. So the next question is, what kind of books do you like to read? And again, I used to only read YA, fantasy, and dystopian, but I veered into really liking romance the last couple years. So I read a lot of like paranormal romance, contemporary, fantasy romance, reverse harems. I love academy settings, so I love seeking out books with that. Most kinds, really. My best friend thinks this is so ironic because I'm just kind of unromantic in real life, but to be fair, I'm demisexual and it's harder to apply romance in real life compared to fiction. Again, I've never really been into like horror, thriller, or mysteries. I've read like one Agatha Christie book in high school for an English class, and I thought it was good, but it wasn't like super memorable and it didn't make me want to read more mysteries, so yeah. But since I haven't been enjoying a lot of the books I've been reading lately, I am planning on branching out, reading more fantasy dystopian, maybe more like literary fiction. Yeah, I'd love to take recommendations. Maybe like some graphic novels even. I don't really believe in reading goals. I don't think it really matters how much you read so much as how much you enjoy what you read. So I'm not gonna have like a specific number in mind for 2024, and I never have one for I've never had one for the past years. The goal is to find books that I'm gonna want to reread and annotate and really dissect and just spend a lot of time with. The last question is, what does your book collection look like? And I'd like to preface this by saying I only own books that, one, I was given, two, I want to reread, so something that I want to own so I can reread it, and three, books that I want to annotate. And when I first moved into this room with like it has shelves and my old room didn't have shelves, I really wanted to just fill the shelves, so I thrifted books that I liked but didn't love, and now that I have more books and want to buy more books eventually, I want to actually get rid of some of them too. I also don't have like a shit ton like some booktubers do. I have a good amount, I think, but not like a crazy amount. I also just don't want to own a lot of books at this stage of my life. The goal, of course, at 80 is to like have all the books that I've loved and have affected me and have shaped me into the person I become, but for now I'm happy with like a smaller collection. Okay, so that was the Booktube Newbie Challenge. I had fun filming, so I hope this was entertaining. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. It's related to Fourth Wing, so hint. But yeah, I hope I see you there. Bye!
உன் ஜென்மங்களின் கண்களை